So it's not exactly a perfect beach day here in South Florida, but it's a whole hell of a lot better than it was 4 days ago when the ocean was absolutely furious and the tidal surge was 6 feet high, and well, you saw what it did to Southwest Florida. So one of the trade-offs of living in paradise, Delray Beach, beautiful beaches, warm Atlantic Ocean, is the fact that on occasion, you're gonna have hurricanes that will form out in the Atlantic Ocean and head straight for you. And unfortunately, after many years of not hitting Florida, this past week, we got hit pretty hard. Fortunate that I'm on the east coast of Florida and we did not have any damage. There were some tornadoes that hit by, but we were lucky. But the people in Southwest Florida are not. So there's a lot of people who have been saying, I would never live in Florida, or I want to get out of Florida. I've been seeing it on social media quite a bit. So today's video, I'm going to go out in the streets of Delray and ask people, just random people, would they leave Florida because of a hurricane, or would they not move to Florida because of a hurricane? So let's hit the streets. All right, so I found a couple people out here walking on Atlantic Avenue in Delray Beach, and it's a beautiful Saturday, although it looks like we might be getting a little rain. Sherry, I'm asking people, thanks for coming on with me. I'm asking people what they thought, what are their thoughts about staying in Florida? First of all, are you from Florida?
Yes, we're from Florida.
And how long have you lived here?
We've lived here 19 years.
Wow, okay, I've been here 30, so great. So obviously the tragic incident that we just had here, we just had this hurricane, was a pretty bad situation, and a lot of people who were looking at coming to Florida have maybe had second thoughts. Have you ever been through a hurricane before?
Yes. We've been through Wilma and Irma, so we've been through 2 hurricanes.
Okay, and after those hurricanes, did you have any thoughts about leaving Florida?
No, not at all, because it's not that often that it happens, and I mean, thankfully we were mostly spared, so no, it's no reason not to come to Florida.
Yeah. I was here in Delray when Wilma hit, and I remember how scared I was with that one. That was a 3 when it came through. It rocked our house pretty well. Then we went through Francis and Jean, which were somewhat nerve-wracking, but those were my first real hurricanes to go through. So do you think, people are gonna, neighbors and stuff, have you ever had people, go, hey, we don't want to live in Florida, like friends or relatives that might be up in the Northeast, have they said, hey, I'll never move to Florida because of hurricanes?
Some people do say that, and some of my friends in Florida said but that they would think about moving, but like, where are we going to go? There's something everywhere. So, you just have to take it with living here with the sunshine, so.
It's not always paradise, right? I mean, my tagline is enjoy paradise, but sometimes it's not paradise. And yeah, I think with the storms, it's, 2005 last time we really had something hit the southeast coast of Florida. You have snow in the Northeast and tornadoes and stuff. So, but I appreciate it. Thank you both for coming on. I appreciate it. And the channel's Palm Beaches Paul. You can just look it up on YouTube. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, Tyler. So have you ever been through a hurricane before?
I have.
Okay.
I have.
Are you from Florida?
I am from Florida.
Hell, a native or?
Basically, yeah, you could say that.
Okay.
I'm basically a native.
Yeah, 30 years myself,
Yeah.
so originally from Texas. I'm asking people with, a hurricane like that. I'm a local realtor, so I have a real estate. My channel's all about moving to South Florida, and obviously I, call it paradise, but it's not always paradise. Sometimes we do get hurricanes. It's been a while, but, being that you saw this hurrane, what it did to the West Coast, would that make you want to leave Florida?
No, I would not want to leave Florida just because of the freedom here, the people, the opportunity. It's Mother Nature. It's going to happen regardless where you are. If you go Midwest, you're going to get tornadoes. If you go up north, you're going to get snowstorms. It happens. So no, I wouldn't.
You stick around and. It can't always be paradise, but cool, man. Well, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, brother. Y'all have a good weekend. Thank you. So it actually looks like we're going to get some rain here, so I don't know how long I'll be able to stand out here, but I've got my tripod, and I can just kind of relocate. Maybe have to go hide in the shade somewhere undercover. But so far I've had a couple people answer, and the majority of people said they would stay or they wouldn't leave. But it was a really bad storm. I remember I went through my first hurricane back in 2004. We had back-to-back hurricanes with Francis and Jean. And then in 2005, when I lived in Delray Beach, we had Wilma, which was a Category 3 and was pretty scary and did a lot of damage. So I've been through a couple hurricanes myself, but nothing to the extent of what Ian was and that 6-foot tidal surge. So anyway, we're going to see if we can get some more people to answer some questions. All right, so I'm here with Terry and his wife and their cute little dog. We have a couple dogs ourselves. And so I'm asking people, after Ian came through, living in South Florida, we live in the tropics, hurricanes are a thing that we have to deal with. But for us, fortunately, it's been like since 2005 since we had Wilma come through. But I'm kind of, that was a bad storm. Would a storm like that ever make you guys want to leave Florida?
I don't think it would make us want to leave Florida. This was our first year, first storm. We saw what happened on the West Coast, which was devastating. I would definitely leave during the storm. And as long as our house was here, we'd stay. And if it got taken away, we'd rebuild it.
That's a great question. So my wife and I always go back with, a Cat 3 will stay, Cat 4, I think we're going to bug out. What storm, threat level would you say would make you want to leave?
I think because we live inland far enough, we're not near water, we would probably stay until our electricity went out. Because water's what I really, really am concerned about. The wind, we board up, hopefully, if we have hurricane windows eventually.
Eventually we'll have
hurricane impact windows. But probably Cat 4, we would think about going somewhere inland or safer.
We were here in Delray when Wilma came through, and that was pretty scary. And it only had the accordion shutter, so yeah, that one kind of gave us a jolt. We live way out west now too, so same thing. I was telling my family and friends and people that there's no water near us. I mean, there's a lake behind us, but I think the wind would have to push it that way. But I don't, a possibility. But yeah, being over here, the coastal cities and stuff. But yeah, we had so many people. So as a realtor, I have a lot of people that were actually. I had one person canceled looking at one of my listings because they said they only want new construction now because they were concerned. So that was kind of scary. So everyone's got their different levels of what they're comfortable with, I understand. But I guess, it's part of living in paradise, right? We got to take the great weather with the occasional storms.
I take the weather 8 or 9 months a year with the occasional storm over what we live with up north.
That's where you said you're from Boston?
Yeah.
That's where some of my customers are in Boston right now, and they're saying the same thing. They want to get down here. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thank y'all. Enjoy your weekend. So Ethan, obviously we had Hurricane Ian that just came through, devastating Cat 4 storm. Are you from South Florida, and have you ever been through a hurricane before?
I'm from Wilmington, North Carolina originally. I've been down, I actually live in Miami right now. Been there for about 2.5 years, I would say.
Okay. And so we get our fair share of storms, but fortunately, it's been about since 2005 since we've had anything really scary come through here.
So growing up, I was born in '91, not to date myself. On top of my head, when I was growing up in the '90s and early 2000s, especially southeast North Carolina, got pounded by hurricanes, Cat 2s, Cat 1s. I think we had a Cat 3. I think one of them, I stayed in my parents' house during them. All the other ones we evacuated. But I've been through tons of storms. I know the routine. I've seen it all. I've seen what it can do to businesses, families, homes, and everything like that.
Yeah, it's definitely, it can really, a storm like what they had, and that storm surge is a mess. I mean, just billions of dollars. When you see a storm like that, do you ever have thoughts like, maybe I don't want to live in Florida. Maybe I want to live in Kansas.
Yeah, so what I was thinking about that, growing up on the coast, it was a privilege. It was an honor to live by the coast. It was a privilege. We were lucky to do so. I mean, I'm not a fisherman. My family worked in the healthcare industry. We could have lived anywhere. But, growing up, my summers, being on the water, the beach, it was everything to me. And we were lucky to live there. And part of that is that you get hurricanes every now and then that could destroy your house. That's part of living there. It's almost like it's the risk and benefits of living there. So to me, and I will always live on the coast. I would never want to live inland. That's just one of the things that you have to deal with. And,
No, I agree. I grew up in Texas. I've been here 30 years. I've been through 3 hurricanes. The worst was Wilma, but we were fortunate. The most we, dealt with was no power. for 2 weeks, but I mean, no power in the middle of summer just sucks. But we didn't have loss of life. We didn't lose any loss of our homes or anything like that.
Yeah.
So we were very fortunate. But I agree. I'm willing to. I've been here 30 years. I don't see myself leaving. I think a lot of my friends and family and the people that I deal with who come down, we have most of the time it's paradise here. And then every once in a while, Mother Nature throws one at us, and it was very unfortunate for those people. I'm not making light of anything over there. It's just a part of living here. But they had Sandy up in the Northeast. They get storms and stuff. So, all right, man. Well, listen, I appreciate it. Thank you for coming on my channel. Just as Palm Beaches Paul, hit the subscribe button.
Absolutely.
Thanks. Did you surf? And where were you in North Carolina?
Wilmington, so southeastern, so it's on the Outer Banks, south of there.
Oh, cool.
When I was a little kid, we would go out before the hurricane and go surf the storms. I was too weak and fat as a kid. I couldn't get past the break, so But I got to go out there, a little bit.
My 15-year-old's out surfing in Jupiter right now.
There you go.
He's out there learning. Yeah, he saw the swells, and he's like, I got to go surfing.
Yeah, right after the hurricane's always the best, nice and crisp and clean. Right before, if it's like 2 days before, 1 day before, it's too chop. You got to be like a professional surfer / bodybuilder. But
he's like, we're gonna go to Delray, and then he says, and then this last night, and then he goes, oh, it's flat in Delray. We're going up to Jupiter. It's up in Juneau.
Chasing
so
the waves, baby. I love
cool.
it. I love
All right.
it.
Well, I appreciate your time, and
All right,
thanks
yes,
very
sir.
much.
Yeah,
Y'all have a
yeah,
great
absolutely.
weekend.
Yeah,
Thanks for
yeah,
coming on. All right, so there you go. There's the answers and opinions of some of the people, just random strangers here in Delray Beach, Florida, what they thought about Hurricane Ian, and would they leave Florida, or would it cause them not to want to move to Florida? And the overall consensus was that they would stay. It wouldn't prevent them from moving here. There's storms everywhere, and it's just something that you're gonna have to deal with when you live in the tropics. So if you're still thinking about moving to Florida, reach out to me. All my contact information will be down below. I'm Paul Lykins with KW Innovations. I'm a Keller Williams rep, and I can help you buy and sell property here in South Florida, and I hope to continue doing so for many years. There's still people moving to Florida. There'll always be people moving to Florida. It's just a destination where a lot of people want to retire or want to have winter homes. I'm working with those customers still, and I think the majority of people will still want to come here just because it's a great place to live. But if you're interested, please reach out to me and let me know. And as always, when you're in the Palm Beaches, get out and enjoy paradise. Also, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. All right, we'll see you next week.